Hey guys, it's Josh from Tasty Loot Gaming. This is my tasty bit for the week. I just recently beat The Witcher 3. Um, I'm just kind of gonna talk. No spoilers. Let me get that straight up. No spoilers at all. Um, I'm just gonna give it praise and say a few things I didn't like about it. I know we talk about it a lot and how awesome it is, but I did find flaws. Um, let's start with the flaws, I guess. First flaw is the loot system was, oh god, it was terrible. Um, I'd be fighting things that are 5 levels above me, and I'd get swords and crap that were 10 levels below me. I'd never use them. The best weapons in the game were the crafted Witcher weapons um, that I've found uh, that I ended up using throughout the end of the game. I understand that maybe crafted Witcher weapons are the best for Witchers, but yeah. So that was my biggest problem. Is loot. Loot was a huge thing. I always find crap armor, crap swords, crap everything that I couldn't fucking use. Every once in a while, I would get like that little, oh shit, this is awesome, and I'd use that, but very rarely. I think in the last, I played the game for 165 hours, and I think the last maybe 50 hours, I maybe changed swords once and armor once. So I mean, there's really nothing, a whole lot to it. But that being said, it was super fun. The story was awesome. The locales were dope. Um, I really enjoyed how Velen and Skellige were completely different. And in Skellige, like everybody talks differently. They have different customs, and you can actually see it in the world. It's actually cool. Just little tiny things that made me like, whoa, this is a completely different fucking area. It was exciting. When I went there, I was like, oh shit, it wasn't just more of the same. It was really nice. Um, I I guess that's a plus. So yeah, so there's a plus instead of a flaw. I know I started with flaws or whatever. Um, Another plus, how it looks. I spent most of my time fast travel in that game. It wasn't even worth it to me because I barely used it. I always rode on Roach, or I always just walked. I walked almost everywhere just because looking at the world was fun. It was the first game in a very long time where looking at the world was like, oh shit, this is awesome. I think Skyrim was probably the last world I actually sat around and looked at, and it still didn't even have me in much awe as The Witcher 3 did. The characters and quests, all amazing. I think only once I ran into like, oh, this is kind of like a fetch quest. Usually they turn fetch quests into like unique stories. They're all little mini stories by themselves, which is really neat. I think that's how quests should be done because they're fun. I actually wanted to go and click, and clear through my whole list of stuff. Hunting the rare monsters was cool. Monsters you don't see, anywhere else in the game due to the Witcher contracts. They had unique things to them too. How real the people were when they reacted to you killing stuff, and not really killing stuff. When you like one contract, you kill something and you bring it back, and they're like, "Oh, here, take this. This is all the money I have. Thanks for saving my sick kid." And I'm like, "You kind of need it." I don't know. There's little choices like that. It's like I feel pretty good about being myself or doing that, or I can be the dick and be like, "Yep, that's mine. That's my money." Um, the voice acting was very good. Uh, I had a few issues with it. My issues mostly were when there was something loud and you could tell Geralt or whoever the hell else was supposed to be shouting, and they didn't. Like their shout didn't have any emotion to it really. It's like, get out of the way. Like it wasn't loud. It wasn't. I don't know. It was like they were shouting but talking. I don't know. It was. It's hard to explain, but if you saw it, you'd know it. It was yeah. The last 10 hours or so of the game was really intense. I stayed up till like 5, 6 in the morning playing it a couple times just to try and get to the end because I really wanted to see the end of the storyline. It was neat all the way through. The different endings were really cool, and it actually takes the whole game to understand what ending you actually get, depending on the choices that you make. Trying to think of other things. I mean, there's little gripes like armor clipping and stuff like that. But that stuff you can't really change. There's like I don't know, shitloads of different types of armor in the game. and different weapons and stuff like that. The weapons I thought were really neat. They had really cool character and design to them. I was really stoked to see like all the different shit that I can find. Or there's even like swords that don't have sheaths because they don't fit in sheaths because they're crazy looking, like a katana, or they have like a thicker blade. Or I had a sword from the Hunter that looked like an orc sword from the Elder Scrolls series. It was really neat. All the races are really fleshed out. There's a lot of storyline, not really storyline, but its main tones is like racism, and not just like blacks and whites. It's more like humans, dwarves, non-humans like elves, or Dopplers, which are shapeshifters. I like how every monster wasn't really a monster. There's a couple times I met like werewolves that they would talk and they would understand you, and you didn't have to kill them, or you didn't have to help them. You could kill them. All the little unique lore that Geralt brings to the game, really, really neat. Like, you can tell he knows his shit. You can tell he's been around for a few games and a series of books, and he's not like new at this, and he proves it time and time again that he's not. Like I said, I never got bored. I always enjoyed what I was doing, or where I was going, or what I was seeing. It was a good experience. I fully recommend that, even if you don't play games like this, I recommend it to people, because it has a little bit of everything, and that everything is, it's a good, well thought out, detailed experience that if they ever make a Witcher 4, I'm totally down for, and I will play the shit out of that game too. The lore's so good, it made me want to go back and play the other games, because I haven't played Witcher 1 and 2, and I haven't read the books either, so I really want to do that. And I think that's my last flaw, though, too, is the lore. As good as it is, and as fleshed out as it is, it does hark back a lot to the older games, to the books. They mention a lot of stuff in Geralt's past. I was like, I didn't even know that fucking happened. Comes up in conversation a lot. So yeah, so I think when I play the other games, maybe play The Witcher 3 again, maybe get the full story. It reminded me a lot of like if you were to start Mass Effect on like the second or third game. You do need the first game to get you like that basis. But but it reminded me of that. It wasn't hindering at all, but I would like to understand what they were talking about just a little bit more. But so The Witcher 3, if you don't have it, get it. There's DLCs out that are free right now. They're coming out with a couple big chunks of DLC. That's going to see hours and hours and hours, plus a new huge areas. So I'm excited for that. New Game Plus just came out, so you can restart with the same stats. So get it if you don't have it. If you already have it, play it more. But I think that's going to do for my Tasty Bit for this week. I am Josh here at Tasty Loot Gaming. And as always, keep chowing down on all that tasty loot.